Hey guys, welcome. Happy to see you on my channel where I make videos about fashion, design, and sewing. Today I want to talk about fashion trends fall 2022, or I guess what's left of it, and winter 2023. The types of fashion trends that are most appealing to me and my style, kind of my interpretation of them, and what would be the best way for me to incorporate them into my wardrobe. So we'll discuss the trends and the patterns that we can utilize to implement. So I used to base my style on following sort of bloggers, fashion stylists, celebrities out there, looking for some kind of list of must-have to wear this season, top trends this fall, etc. But in today's fashion landscape, the biggest trend you can follow is staying true to yourself and your taste. Self-expression, your own comfort level, your own individual style is what's the most fashionable. In a way, analyzing all those like design elements and colors and so trends, analyzing the trends from the runways, following those sort of like ultra famous fashion trendsetters becomes sort of irrelevant because they can't offer you a perfect formula. So it's a bit harder, but at the same time a lot more interesting. As an example, I absolutely love color, and just looking back a few years ago, there was a time when monochrome looks and minimalism as a whole was super trendy. I particularly struggled during that time because I thought that that's what I had to wear in order to look modern and stylish. So I kind of put all my prints, all my colorful things away, and I really struggled finding my own kind of like myself in those pieces that are trendy for somebody but boring for me. So in today's video is my attempt to talk about the trends but also discuss what's the most comfortable for me, for my lifestyle, and what I would consider modern and trendy. I was a teen during this era, so I personally don't feel the need to replicate it, like literally. I already did that in the past. Besides, wearing this kind of trends definitely takes very specific certain kind of like style and personality, but I do like a few of the sub-trends that are coming from trends of 2000s that I would like to explore, that I think would be quite wearable and interesting. Okay, so low-rise cut, low-rise fit is not quite the same as it used to be back in 2000s. Right now, I think the more accurate way to call it is a lower rise, so like lower waistline, and that how far low you want to go, it's gonna be different for everybody. I know there are quite a few young girls, like you go on Instagram and they wear those super cool, super low-cut, slouchy, baggy pants, and they look fantastic in them, but it is not for everyone. It's definitely not for me. Low-rise cuts, not the most flattering for most body types. I actually do look a little bit better in more of like a mid-waist or even slightly like lower than mid-waist pants and skirts, but it's not for most women. For most women, the higher the waistline, it actually looks a little bit nicer. While retail stores are full of low-waisted options, the pattern department unfortunately is not so abundant. I did find a couple PDF patterns that I think would be great to use. Number one, Studio 11 from Etsy. I saw their cargo pant that's super low-waisted that looks pretty nice. Also, Vicky Sews has Karen pants that I have sewn in the past that looks great. They sit pretty low. They're kind of like your dad's classic pant. Also pretty good option. Another sub-trend that is continuation of the low rise that also came to us from 2000s is cargo and parachute pants. The difference between the two is that the parachute pant has more of a wider fit, so we have like quite a bit ultra wide pant with super oversized details like really large pockets. Typically sits quite a bit low on your waist, actually like they sit more on your hips. I think parachute pant will be more of a fad. I don't think it's going to be sticking around for a while. I think cargo is going to be trendy for a lot longer, almost to where it's going to become more of a classic for a few years from now on. So I definitely will be sticking with the cargo option. Cargo pants doesn't have to be low-waisted. It can actually be high-waisted, it can be mid-waisted, it can be whatever you want. So for me, the best option would be the mid-waisted, moderately wide cargo pants that I definitely would love to have and make for myself. As far as the patterns go, we have a few options. For the physical pattern, I was actually able to find some options amongst McCall. I think this would be great if you do prefer physical pattern over PDF. But for PDF options, Vicky Sauce has sterile pants that actually just made specifically to this trend in the recent collections. Semi-fitted, so not too wide, not too fitted, sits pretty high in the waist, so I would be like probably altering this pattern and actually using it for myself, but making it more mid-waisted. I also really liked the men's cargo pant option that I found on Etsy by brand Wardrobe by Me. I liked that they have a waist measurement that goes all the way down to 26, so it doesn't matter if you're man or woman, if your waist goes 26 and up, or the area that you want this pant to be sitting on starts with 26 and up, then you definitely can use this for like a very classic cargo pant pattern. I did like that one a lot. I might be actually using it to try it out. And this is Kachi has cargo pant called Zoe. I do like the pant on her, but I don't really like how the pocket's positioned, so I wouldn't be using this pattern for myself. Another sub-trend that I find interesting is the showing of your wide waistband from underneath your pants. Also came to us from 2000s. Maybe you remember those cool Calvin Klein ads where the girls and guys would wear Calvin Klein underwear with that white elastic with black letters, and it would be like sticking out of your pants. I think that looks kind of cool. So to achieve that, it's relatively easy. You can simply just make another thin waistband that you can attach and detach from your pants, from your, like, for example, favorite classic slouchy silhouette pants, or you can simply just, as you're making the pant, create the waistband, make the white liner, so that way you can actually turn it inside out, which I see a lot of like super trendy girls do. I think it looks pretty cool and fresh. If you find some way to show some kind of like a white strip or white elastic, be it your actual underwear or just something detachable, I think it's pretty cool and fresh. If this low-waisted trend is not your thing, don't worry about it, walk right by it and stick with your high-waisted pants, because guess what? They are still just as trendy and I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon. They are stylish, they are comfy, they typically make everyone look great, so no reason to really go and switch all your pants to something lower. The high-waisted are just as trendy, and that's what the best part about today's fashion. If you look back into 2000s, you will not be able to find anything that even closely resembles high-waisted. Just like I would say like 5-7 years ago, when high-waisted pants became all the trend, you would not be able to find anything that's lower. Everything was high-waisted. Right now, the best time, I think, because we have the best of both worlds available to us, whether you want to buy or make. As far as the patterns go, we are in luck here. Every pattern producer has some kind of high-waisted pant option for us. Some of my favorites are though Vicky Sauce Daphne trousers. I made those a couple times. I absolutely love them. They are perfection. I also love Adeline trousers. I haven't made them yet, but I do like they're not wide-legged. They are narrowed down towards the bottom. And a few of the options that I really liked on Etsy, Dressy Talk pattern. They have palazzo pants that are high-waisted, wide-leg pants. Dolly by Hoang has wide-leg pleated pants, ultra high-waisted if you do like that. And I also found a really cool tutorial on YouTube by Jess Dang. So she pretty much tells you how to build your own perfect high-waisted pant pattern. So check out that as well. It's going to be linked below. Preppy style is not entirely a new trend. It's been trendy for a while. I think Gossip Girl is one of the shows that we need to say thank you for it, because as long as the show goes on, it remains trendy. And I mean the old version of the Gossip Girl as well as the new one. I also like that preppy style looks super cool against a fall season. If you live in a climate where you have like the most beautiful golden leaves around you and this style is for you, I think that is great. It's not something I dared to try in the past, but I do like a few elements now that I want to try out and incorporate into my wardrobe. Preppy sport is not something we can actually fully call a trend because it's sort of a staple. Any hoodie with a logo of your university or just a university or a sporting team, oversized hoodie that you would wear is something we would just all have in our closet, especially here in America. But I will say it's more of a fresh and modern trend right now, especially if you do pair it with something more classical like pleated skirts, if you do like mini skirts or classic pants, also kind of like a classic wool coat. Again, just any juxtaposition of sport and classic cut silhouette style. If you want to make this trend instead of buying, there are a few companies out there that make heat transferable logos of any size. You just iron them on and voila, you have your logo. And I will include some under the video, but I think that would be a really cool way to maybe create your own signage and not even use any university, but do something unique and your own. Another option is to stitch something on, like some lettering from some sport teams. You can find like a whole bunch of like different letters on Etsy. I think that would be a cool way to do DIY preppy sports university logo hoodie and sweatpants. The oversized silhouette is what's the most trendy right now, especially if it's a knitted vest. I'm not making knitted vests myself, I'm not doing that, but I do like to try it out as kind of like that preppy style to wear with classic trousers or some kind of like skirts. I'm probably gonna end up making it out of some sweatshirt fabric. We can wear them over long sleeve button-downs, t-shirts, throw another blazer or jacket over them, wear them with joggers or any other casual pants, and you will look super put together. It adds additional layer to your look. It's also warm if you do live somewhere like Chicago or New York City or maybe London, places where you do spend a lot of time on the streets and you want to have that extra warmth and stay kind of trendy. So as far as the patterns go, there is not like a whole lot of options out there. It's actually relatively easy to make a vest out of your typical sweatshirt hoodie. It has to be of like traditional drop sleeve hoodie, so you leave the sleeves out and you create the v-neck to kind of like your liking. For me, I've done it in the past. I took exactly like 25 centimeters down and cut the v-neck and voila, you have your vest. I did find one pattern by a Style Arc, a shop on Etsy, so check it out if you do really want to use the pattern instead of just making your own. The pleated skirt. I've got this schoolgirl skirt, super trendy right now. I do love this trend, but I don't know if I can pull off the mini length of it. The minis tend to be what's actually in style. I think I need something a little bit longer, something above the knee, but we do have some pattern options here, which is great. Out of the physical patterns, we have McCall's. Again, McCall's seems like one of my favorites physical pattern producers. When it comes to trendy stuff, Burda magazine, Burda Style magazine, that had a couple options from November issue and October issue. And out of PDF, I did really like Vicky Sauce the most. They had two skirts that I've seen lots of photos on Instagram already that look great. Haida skirt and Malika semi-fitted mini skirt is also a great option to consider. A two-piece matching loungewear, often made with monochrome colors, with super soft jersey fabric that speaks comfort. This trend stayed with us post-pandemic, and it kind of continues evolving from your typical sweatshirt, sweatpants ensemble into more elegant and classic and elevated. Can be created absolutely from a different type of jersey, from the thinnest to thickest, like fleece. And I've seen a lot of actual jersey fabrics that look like chunky knits, cashmere blends, wool blends, cotton blends, whatever you want. And also consider making the bottom as a skirt instead of your typical loungewear pants, because I think that would be a really cool too, and just a little bit different and a little bit more elevated. Out of the pattern producers, we have mostly PDF. Kiana Bonola designs a really interesting loungewear set that I would recommend. I haven't used her patterns in the past, but she's a YouTuber here, so if you guys watching my channel, you mostly subscribe to hers. Let me know if you've used her patterns in the past. I'm really curious to try them out eventually. Sew Me Joy patterns, I also found on Etsy that has that cool skirt that you can use if you like that idea for your set. I really want to do that for myself. I want to try to wear a little bit more skirts this season, so I want to check it out. Corsets. They've been trendy for a couple of years now. I actually stayed away from corsets this entire time that they've been trendy, but I finally coming along. When I was thinking to make any kind of like New Year's outfit, I was just not so thrilled to make another dress. It's just something, I don't know, I don't want to do. I don't want to wear or make another dress. But the corset worn with your favorite high-waisted pants could be perfection. I think it looks super sexy, yet chic and very sophisticated, very elevated. If you're new to the corsets like me, there's this website that I found online that has a bunch of free patterns as well as a lot of great information on how to make a corset. Kiana Banola Designs, she also does have a few patterns for corset. I did like hers particularly because of those side lacing detail. Vicky Sauce has Tally corset top, a bustier that also looks really cool, and like always Vicky Sauce has great instructions on how to make something, so you can trust that. And I like that it can be worn on its own and also over any kind of shirt, like a button-down shirt. If you don't quite feeling the corset itself, like you wouldn't wear it on its own, maybe it's better to make just the under bust belt. I did find quite a few patterns for that as well, and I find it particularly interesting when you do wear them over like your typical classic cotton button-down shirt. Bomber jackets have been popular and trendy for a while, and they're kind of gradually getting more and more on oversized side of things, which I really do love. I think bomber jacket is the most versatile jacket you can have. It can be worn in fall, winter, even spring with any bottoms. Bomber jackets can also be made out of virtually any fabric. You can make it with your traditional plasticky-ish type of nylon fabric, or you can go with something a little bit classier, some kind of a wool fabric actually, to make it look more like soft and less edgy, made out of faux leather. That would look really nice. If I find interesting, like a nice texture, I would consider making one out of that. As far as the patterns go, it's a bit sad when it comes to bomber jackets. Honestly, the pattern producers need to kind of like level up their outerwear game a little bit, but I did find a couple. Arc style Bobby bomber, found it on Etsy. Not my fave because the images are kind of poor. You can't really tell what it's gonna end up looking like, and it's like $11. Pattern Coast Patterns has a Miele unisex bomber that I would probably more so would opt for to try out, and definitely make a sample again just to see if the fit is actually what you want. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around with me for this long. I hope you enjoyed these trends and the patterns. If you know any pattern producer or any particular pattern that would work nicely for these trends, please share it with me in the comments below, because I really struggled finding any cool patterns amongst the more popular ones. So maybe there are some indie patterns out there on Instagram or whatever that I'm not aware of that make perfectly beautiful patterns in English. I will be making a part 2 follow-up video to this video because I want to actually walk you through what exactly I will be making and what color and how I incorporate that into my wardrobe, how I make sure that what I make is actually ends up being worn in day-to-day. So if you are interested in this kind of content, stick around by clicking that subscribe button. Thank you and take care.